Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to our lecturer, which is Semakno bin Muhammad. So today my group will present about the biomechanical analysis about handball. The skill is shooting. But first of all, I want to introduce my group mates, my group members, which is the first one is Muhammad Iskandar bin Makrozi. The second one is Muhammad Amir Akram bin Zain Azman, Muhammad Adin bin Muhammad Afandi, me myself Nur Syafiqah binti Zainal Abidin, and the last one is Yusaini Shazwan bin Yusfan Nizam. Okay, stay tuned. Okay, for the first slide is introduction of the skill. Okay, shooting is the last piece of activity and its target scoring a goal. The activity is considerably more strong and quick, and the skill is to produce the important push and the players make a 3-step run up. We continue to the second slide, which is the movement of the skill. Okay, biomechanical characteristic. Okay, the first one is pulling the tossing hand with the ball back. Make the follow through action for advance to take the strolling position. Start the crushing arm toss move. The ball will release speed and the maximal arm portion speed in the last step of the ball accelerating succession. And along this line, in biomechanical qualities, base straight shot strategy normalization measure. And the last one is the leg development rating markers of the last hybrid advance, which is the follow through action in the shooting technique because of the momentum. For the muscle and bones involved, most of the muscle and bones involved in shooting skill are at the shoulder muscle and bones components, such as for the muscle is tricep, bicep and deltoid, and for the bone is scapula, clavicle, humerus, radius and ulna. For the last part of mine is the task performance in shooting skill. Okay, the first one, the athlete need to practice the skill with the athlete need to shot the ball into the goal post without the keeper. And the second one, the athlete need to add the goalkeeper and try to keep the shot accurate.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Hi, I'm Yusaini Shazwan. Okay, so I will present to you a form of motion. For this skill, performance of motion is called linear motion, when the body moves in a straight line or curved line, with all its parts moving at the same distance, in the same direction, and at the same speed as well. So linear motion can be further divided into two, which is rectilinear motion and curvilinear motion. Therefore, for the performance of this skill is categorized as a curvilinear motion, that the individual particle trajectory of the body is curved, although the orientation of the body in space does not change. Okay. When he want to do a shooting and he throw the ball, the shape will go like this. Okay, next is a level system. The majority of movement in the human body are classified as a third-class level system. In the third-class level system, the effort, which is a force, is the middle component and lies between the fulcrum and load, which is resistance. So there are many examples of third-class level system, and then there's a lot of movement are involved, which is running, jumping, kicking and throwing. So basically for this skill performance, which is a handball shooting, during shooting the elbow is the effort, and the shoulder joint is the fulcrum, and the weight of the ball is the load. So a third class level system is used to increase body speed and allow for wider movement. Next is about torque characteristic in the skill performance. What is the meaning of torque? The effect of force rotation on the body in which it acts in is measured by the moment of the force. So the moment of power depends on the magnitude of the force and the distance from the axis of rotation. So thus human leverage system are built for speed and also the distance of a movement at the expense of strength. So moreover, uh, either a short force arm and also a long lasting arm require great muscle strength to produce a movement. Like say the shooting. When he do shooting, the either short arm or long arm will have require muscle strength when he want to do the throw and when he want to do shooting because of the power of the movement.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Adi bin Muhammad Afandi, and today I would like to continue on my growth presentation regarding kinematic and kinetic analysis of sports skills in 2D video analysis. Right, so as we all know, kinematic is the study of the motion of points, object, and groups of object without considering the causes of its motion, while kinetic is the action of force producing or changing in motion. Okay, video motion analysis is a technique used to get information or data about moving objects from a video. Examples of this include guide analysis, spot replays, speed and acceleration calculations, and in the case of team or individual sports, task performance analysis. Alright, so the purpose of this analysis is to study the kinetic, kinematic and biomechanical characteristic of shooting in handball. It is also to study the speed when the ball releases between professional athlete and non-professional athlete. There has been a significant differences between professional athletes and non-professional athletes, where the shooting skill performed by professional athletes are much better than non-professional athletes in terms of executing the skill itself and the power and speed on the ball release. This is because professional athletes have proper training throughout their entire career, which makes them better at every single aspect biomechanically rather than non-professional athletes. This also can depend on the speed of their arm swinging the ball trying to execute the skill. The more speed they swing, the faster the ball will travel, which can be concluded that professional athletes are better than non-professional athletes due to their training and the skills taught individually by their coaches.
Setup of the video analysis. The angle that we choose is lateral side so that we can see the whole body of the subjects and collect accurate data. The subject that we are choosing is professional athlete and non-athlete, while the quality will be set into 720 pixels, while the application that we'll be using is AI posture evaluation and correction system Apex.
Moving on with the kinematic properties of the skill. As you can see, these are one of the few phases that are involved in standing shooting in handball. So let's move through phases by phases. Okay, the first phase. The same leg as the shooting hand must be firm at the ground to support your whole body. The other leg must prepare for a strike. Next one, the shoulder must be facing to the goal post. And lastly, the ball must be placed starting from behind. Moving on with the second phase. First of all, you must land on the sole firmly. Second one, grip the ball with your shooting hand while keep the elbows slightly bent. And the last one, open up the other hand to the front and aim it to the goal post. Moving on with the phase 3. The same leg as the shooting hand touch the ground with toes. The shooting arm must be parallel with the shoulder, elbow bent to almost 90 degrees, and at this point, whole of body weight is transferred into the planting foot. Phase number 4. Body facing the target, both knees flexed, extend your arm above the head and point the other arm to the target or goal post. The last phase that are involved in standing shooting hand in handball. So the phase or number 5, release the ball at the highest points of the swing follow through with your throwing arm pointing toward the target. The foot will not touch the ground while the other will stay firm on the ground. And don't forget to follow through action for the momentum. Thank you.
Alright, so moving on to kinetic properties of the skill. Kinetic is known as the study of bodies with reference to the force which causes the motion. In recent years, a number of studies have investigated shoulder biomechanics in handball shooting. This has summarized that the handball shoots is characterized by large external shoulder rotation followed by a rapid internal rotation with minor changes in shoulder flexion and abduction. Generally timing sequence, joint angles and joint velocities were not affected by different conditions such as throwing type, arm position, ball weight and gender. However, large differences in shoulder angles and angular velocities were found between studies which most likely are explained by methodological differences. Forces also plays a major role in executing the skill. To execute the skill requires force, and with the influence of force we can determine whether the power of the ball is high or low. The higher the force to execute the skill, the more power, speed, velocity of the ball will travel towards the goal. Muscles can be one of the factors to contribute to force generation, because with bigger muscles produce bigger force and more strength are available to execute the skill.
So this is the first phase of shooting shot in handball. The shoulder must be facing to the goalpost, and the right leg must be firm at the ground, while the other leg must be prepared for a strike. And the right hand, left hand must be holding the ball. The second phase for shooting hand in handball. So land on your sole firmly. Grip the ball with your right hand and elbow slightly bend, and aim the other hand in front to aim it to the goal. The third phases. The elbow bend to almost 90 degrees. The right leg touch the ground with the toes only, and that is all. This is the overall form of second. Fourth phases of shooting hand in handball. So extend your arm above your head. Non-shooting hand must point at the target, and body facing the goalpost like this. Last phases of the skill. So release the ball at the highest point of the swing. The right leg must not touch the ground while the swing happens, and don't forget to follow through.
Strength and weaknesses of the recorded skill performance. The strength is athlete can use it for improvements. Athlete can look back to the video recorded and improve their technique, so it will be much more effective during competitions. Number 2 is injury preventions. Coaches can look back at our video analysis and correct their athletes' techniques, so it will prevent unwanted injuries. Moving on to the weakness is the quality of the video. We are using phone camera instead of professional cameras, so you know that professional camera can detect the flaws that phone cameras cannot. Number 2 is limited materials. We do not have enough materials to calculate force, velocity and etc. So the result of our analysis may or may not be accurate.
Hello and hi everyone. So now I would like to share the steps for maximizing skill performance. So the first one is by analyzing the planes of motion, the direction, the path and also the range of motion. Second one is use muscle pairs in the correct sequence. The third one is analyze the forces that cause the movement, the joint movement and the internal and external forces on the body. The fourth one is applied force summation, which allows the body to gain maximum force summation when preparing for a jump shot. The fifth one is by maximize the acceleration during run-up. And the last one is high release point of elbow during shooting to generate higher velocity. So for the conclusion, biomechanics in sports is very important and affects the performance of the athlete. Coaches and athletes need to understand that specific sports apply specific principles. Lastly, if coaches and athletes really understand how force works in sports, they can manipulate the force and turn it into something that give advantages to their athlete. So that's all from our group. Arigato gozaimasu. Zizi. Shukran.